Okay, so how do you become financially free or financially independent in 7 years? And is that even possible? And I do have some notes here on my phone. And the first thing we need to, so sorry for looking down my phone, but I have kind of a structure for this video. And the first thing we need to understand is what does financial freedom means. And I already have a video on the channel about this, so I'm not going to go too much in depth with this. But for me, financial freedom is having around $1,000 per month to live off passively, right? So from the assets, for example, real estate or stock investments, have $1,000 a month, every single month to live off of. Okay, around $1,000. Can be even lower than that, but around 1,000. And that is because there are many countries in the world where you can live with $1,000 per month. So obviously, America might not be one of the countries, but there are many countries like Thailand, Romania, where I'm from, Argentina, where you can actually live and have an okay life, pretty decent life with $1,000, even today in 2024. Okay? Now, I'm talking right now about the average American, or someone who is actually educated and makes like the median American salary, right? So he doesn't make the minimum wage, but he makes the medium salary, right? He makes more than that. And I know everyone's situation is different, but I think if you're making minimum wage, then it's pretty difficult to do it in 7 years. But if you have, a degree, you have a good or an okay paying job, and, you make around $4,000 a month, right? Because that's like kind of the medium salary in USA, then I think you can definitely do it in 7 years. And that is why, okay, this is the disclaimer. This won't apply for really everyone, but let's say you're making $60,000 a month, $60,000 a year, sorry. And that is kind of a median salary in USA. And as far as I know, if I'm making a mistake here, then please correct me in the comment section. But let's say you're making $60,000 a year. Okay, that's not like a huge salary, but it's not like, it's a good salary, right? You're making $60,000, and what we care about is what you're left with in hand after taxes, right? So let's say you're paying about 25% in taxes, all taxes, then you're left with about $45,000 per year. That means you'll have $3,750 every single month to spend, to live off of, basically. Okay? Now, knowing this, there are basically three things that you would have to tackle and you would have to take control over in your life, in your, financial life, financially speaking. You would have to take control over those three categories or three things in your life, financially speaking. And the first one is frugal living and saving. Okay? And honestly, you can be extremely frugal and still won't be able to save your way up to retirement in 7 years. So for example, you're not buying any coffees outside of your home. You're making your own coffee. You're making your own avocado toast. You're not having brunch or anything like that. Well, those things are really, really important. but this is not really what is going to make the greatest of impact. I still want you to do those things, and we can still do those things, and we should still do those things, but I actually have 2 tips over here for you in order to be able to save more money. Yes, you are frugal, but in order to save like a hefty amount of money every single month, I have 2 tips for you. So if you're from USA or an expensive country, and number one thing is you don't want to leave, okay, or you cannot leave because of your job, okay, well, what you should do, what you should look into is what is known as house hacking. And I'm not going to go too much in depth in this video about what house hacking is. You can go and type in your YouTube search bar house hacking, what it is, and just watch a bunch of videos on this. But basically, really short, house hacking is paying for a home, buying a home, putting a down payment for a home, can be 5%, can be 10%, 20%, and then paying monthly rent, but then renting out the other rooms in your home or the other unit or units if it's made up of multiple units. And then basically you would lower your expenses in regards to rent every month pretty drastically. In fact, there are many people who live rent-free because of this. So, rent is not an expense for them anymore because the other tenants are paying the monthly mortgage, essentially, okay? And in fact, there are people who actually make money off of this. For example, they make $100 every month. So let's say their mortgage is $1,000, they make $1,100, or they make $1,200 every month from their tenant. So they pay the 1,000 and they're still left with 200 more. So that's really, an idea that I'm giving you, and I truly believe it is something you should look into if you're planning to stay in your country, and especially if it's like a rich country or country where house hacking is something that you can really do. For example, USA, it is one of the countries. So if you're planning on staying in your country, let's say USA, you're planning on not leaving your city and just settling down over there and so on, then I think house hacking is something you should really look into if you haven't already. Okay, as I said, there is more information on YouTube, just search for it. But that's essentially what house hacking is, and it will help you save a lot of money this way. The second thing is geographical arbitrage. So if you live in a rich country like USA again, and you are able to work remote, or your job is hybrid, you can also work from home, but you also have to work from office, and you're willing to move from your country to a country where where you get more for your money, basically, like Thailand, as I said, Argentina, maybe Bolivia, Georgia, Romania, then what you should do is you should take on this opportunity. So if your job is, you can work from home, then just leave, go to a country where you can live on $1,000 a month and live there, okay? And this way, you can actually save even more than with house hacking, honestly. That's my opinion. You can save even more, and you also don't have that stress of saving money for a down payment, choosing the right home, looking into what is available on the market, and so on and so forth, doing your research and so on. So with this is actually less headache, and you can actually make it so you save even more money, and it's also the experience, okay? Living in a totally different country, maybe in a different continent altogether, can be quite an experience. And I'm telling you this from my own experience. Okay, now what do we have? Next, number 2, because as I said, it's 3 parts. Number 2 is your active income. So you're making $60,000 a month right now, but you should look into ways of increasing your income. You should look into ways of increasing your income constantly. Okay, so if you're hired at a company, you are in a corporation, then you should look into entrepreneurship. Okay, it's a difference between intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is kind of like becoming an entrepreneur in a corporation. So you're basically climbing the corporate ladder, and your only goal right now, if you want to retire in 7 years, is to find out what else you can do, what other skills the company needs in order to be able to be paid more. Okay? What are some valuable skills that you can learn that will help you make more in the next year, next 2 years? Okay? So this way, you will be increasing your income. So from 60,000 maybe this year, 2024, next year in January, because you developed skills last few months of this year, next year in January you will be making 70,000 a year or 75,000 a year, and the next one more and more and more. Okay? And that's something that can help you retire even faster potentially. Okay, that's the one thing. If you're working in a corporation and you only want to focus on the corporation, and you're not the entrepreneur type that much. Okay, now if you work in a corporation or you have a very good job that pays $60,000 a year, but you don't want to do that, then what you should look into is entrepreneurship. And you'll see many ideas, or many people will call it on YouTube as, we'll name them as side hustles. You'll find them named as side hustles. Okay, a side hustle, the only recommendation that I have for you, you should look into side hustles that you can do from anywhere in the world. So basically only online side hustles. Okay, now what I do, and this is not a side hustle for me, this is actually my job. I do marketing for companies. I work as a freelancer. So I do Facebook ads for companies. Okay, and basically I can work from anywhere in the world. So learn a skill, buy a course, buy some mentorship, some coaching from people that you find on the internet and then you can relate to or are inspiring to you. Buy their material, invest in that, and then learn and start this on the side. That is why it's called side hustle, right? It's on the side of what you're already doing. You have your corporate job and you're gonna do this on the side. Okay, I don't want this video to be too long. I think it's already too long, and I hope the phone is still recording. But I'm gonna go into the last one, right? So number 2 is increasing your active income. Number 3 is investing. Okay, now once you already, or I shouldn't say once you already mastered the other 2, I should say you should do all these 3 things. You should work on them constantly and at the same time and without stopping, right? So saving, frugal living, house hacking, that if that is something for you, or geographical arbitrage, moving to another country where cost of living is cheaper, if you have like a job that would allow that, where you could work from anywhere in the world online. That's the first thing. Second thing is working on increasing the income you're making from your active, or increasing your active income basically through entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship. And number 3, so all of them, do them in the same time, is investing. And honestly, the only two ways the two ways that I see as being easiest and most common, and that you can find a lot of material on, and people have been doing this for years, is either stock market investing or real estate investing. And they both have their pros and cons. But I think what it comes down to the individual. So you should look into both at the beginning and see which one fits you best. Maybe stock market investing would be the one. And I say that because with that you can actually invest a small amount every single month. So if you want to actually start now already this week, you can already put $100 in. Okay, and that's it. Whereas with real estate, like physical real estate, it's different, obviously, because you would need to have, maybe 10, 20, 30, $50,000 in order to put the money down and then get a credit, take a loan. So it's a bit different. Okay, but what I want to say, just read about both and see which one fits you best or better. Now, what I want to do is make a quick calculation, because you'll be thinking maybe, hey, okay, so how is this 7-year plan? Now, let's say even if you're saving your money, let's say you moved to a different country because your job allowed it and you can work online, but you're not able to increase your income over time, okay? And you also invest only in year 6 for the first time, or year 5, okay? Well, let me show you this. Let me show you this. 3,550, right? That's your monthly income, because we said 45,000 divided by 12. That's what it is. Now, with this, if you move to a different country, you'd be able to save realistically now in 2024, you'd be able to live on 1,250. And I'm saying this from experience. I am Romanian. I live in Romania. You can live with $1,000 in Romania. You can. Okay? And this is a bit over. It's 1,250. Okay? I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's what it is. So you're left with $2,500 every month. Multiplied by 12, it's $30,000. I hope you can see it. I'm recording from my phone, so. And multiplied by 7 years. $210,000. Now, with the investments, whether it is real estate or stock investing, 6% a year net income is realistic. It is something realistic, okay? So you would be living with 6% out of $210,000. You'd be living on 6% off of this each year, okay? Now, let's divide this. So minus 94%, that's $12,600. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me today. So you'd be living with this every year. Divide this by 12. That's a little over $1,000 a month. A little over $1,000 a month. So you can basically retire on $60,000. Granted, you are able to move to a different country or do house hacking. And granted, you also work on increasing your income and invest wisely and learn about investments, invest in the stock market, or invest in real estate and learn about investments. You could retire in 7 years, or potentially even earlier than that. Now, this was just a guideline. This was just me trying to give you an idea, okay, So don't criticize me too harsh on this, like, oh yeah, but $60,000 a year, that's a lot of money, and not a lot of people are making that. Okay, this is just a guideline. If you're making 50,000, 40,000, then maybe you can retire in 10 years. And that's still pretty early, right? Instead of retiring 65, if now you're 25, you're retiring at 35. That's extremely early still. Okay? And you also have more years to increase your active income as well. That's it for today. I hope my phone battery didn't die and it's still recording. And if you like this video, if you found it helpful, then please like it and comment in the comment section what you think. Thank you, and see you in the next one.